Chapter 1. It was a cold and dark February night. Whipped by the driving rain, an ambulance winded through the crowded streets of the town of Wolf Creek. Inside the ambulance, a man in his 60s laid with an oxygen mask over his mouth. A concerned EMT worker monitored his pulse rate. The ambulance rocketed to a nearby hospital and entered through the main gate. Sandy Miller, a 26-year-old young doctor, and 4 male nurses rushed the man on his stretcher into intensive care of an emergency room. Meanwhile, Dr. Brian Harrison, a brilliant specialist in his late 40s, was in his office looking at a pup inside a cage, while in a dark corner, in 3 separate cages, a bat, a hyena, and a coyote gazed at him anxiously. Dr. Harrison's phone rang and he grabbed it. "Yes, I'll be there in 3, said Dr. Harrison, who rushed out toward the emergency room. Inside the intensive care room, Dr. Harrison examined the man as Dr. Miller and Catherine, a young nurse, stood by. "He's got a rare type of acute bronchitis. It's easy to misdiagnose," said Dr. Harrison. "Only seen a few cases of it in the 20 years I've practiced."
"Thank you, Dr. Harrison," said Dr. Miller. "I'll let him know it was you who pulled him out of this scare, and he'll probably send you a box of cigars."
"You know this man?" asked Dr. Harrison.
"We're both from a small town called STONY I," said Dr. Miller.
"Isn't that small town named after a letter I-shaped stone at the entrance?" said Dr. Harrison.
"That's right, Doctor," said Dr. Miller. "This man is Warren Edward, a veteran local police officer."
Dr. Harrison blanched. Dr. Miller eyed him curiously.
"Do you know him?"
asked Dr. Miller. "Sounds familiar, but I can't place him," said Dr. Harrison. "I need to monitor him for a while. You may leave now." Dr. Miller momentarily studied Dr. Harrison, then silently followed Catherine the nurse out and walked away from the intensive care room.
"You're ready to do anything to keep that doctor by your side, aren't you?" said Catherine, teasing her.
Dr. Miller blushed.
"Oh gosh, is it that obvious?" said Dr. Miller. "I don't know what it is about that man." "Dr. Harrison is a crazy scientist if you ask me," said Catherine. "I'd steer clear of him." "Oh, that's what people always say about brilliant minds that are a little eccentric," said Dr. Miller. "I'll have to do a better job of keeping a lid on myself."
Catherine smiled, waved goodbye, leaving Dr. Miller. Dr. Miller stopped, searched in her pockets, then ran backward to the intensive care room. She entered and was shocked to find that all the medical equipment linked to the man was now pulled out. Officer Warren Edward breathed with difficulty, and Dr. Harrison was nowhere to be found. Dr. Miller quickly put the equipment back on the mouth of the patient and plugged everything else back in. Then, displaying a look of deep disturbance, she quickly exited and ran to Dr. Harrison's office. She stood in the doorway to the office, scanned the room, then let out a sharp cry. The bat, the hyena, and the coyote laid slain and horribly mutilated near their cages, but no trace of the pup.
"Dr. Harrison?"
said Dr. Miller with a shivering voice. There was no answer. She ventured cautiously into the dark office. Suddenly, a terrifying animal that looked like a coyote but with hyena spots over his body and a bat face jumped on her, grabbed her arm, and bit it. Dr. Miller let out a painful cry. Dr. Harrison heard her and rushed out from the bathroom holding a big iron bar and powerfully struck the creature on the head. The animal fell dead on the ground.
"My God, what's that?"
asked Dr. Miller. Well, it used to be a pup, said Dr. Harrison. I've been searching for it for a while, and here it is.
At that moment, the door of the office opened and the director of the hospital, followed by an entourage of medical specialists, rushed in and flicked on the lights.
We heard screams, said the hospital director.
Dr. Harrison stood frozen as the group took in the room, saw the dead animals and Dr. Miller bleeding. The director looked up fiercely at Dr. Harrison.
Dr. Harrison, he said, we agreed on no more genetic engineering experiments in my hospital. You're beyond a liability.
Yeah, you win, said Dr. Harrison. This is the last one. I quit the hospital. Everyone was shocked by this rush announcement.